Welcome everybody to Forza Motorsport 7, and today we're taking a look at the 1992 Alfa Romeo 155 Q4. This is a compact executive car in a four-door saloon body style, the only body style that it was actually available in, and it was produced between 1992 and 1998, and with around 192,000 being made, though only 2,591 of them were this version. And this shares the engine and the permanent four-wheel drive system that from the Lancia Delta Integrale. So this is basically a saloon version of that car. So it weighs a little bit more, nearly 200 pounds more. It's got a little bit less power and torque, but it does offer more interior space, especially for the passengers. Though it does sacrifice cargo space because not being a hatch, it's not got as much room in the rear, but still plenty room in there for sure. But yeah, where this car does impress is the engine. Now granted, it's not the most powerful engine from Alfa Romeo, but it is a top of the line version of from this car, even if it isn't the biggest engine, because there was a 2.5 litre V6 available, and it is obviously like I said, less powerful than the Lancia Delta, but that just means it's more usable on a day-to-day basis, quite frankly. So yeah, it's a 2-litre turbocharged inline-4 engine producing 187 horsepower and 219 pounds-feet of torque, which is still fairly decent, especially in a car that only weighs 3,064 pounds, which is not a bad weight whatsoever for a car of this size. Yes, it's a compact executive car, but it's still a reasonably sized vehicle nonetheless. Like I said, plenty of room. And being as an executive car, it's more luxurious on the inside than the Lancia Delta as well. And since there were more of the 155 made than the Lancia Delta from around the same period as each special version were made, this is going to be the more reliable vehicle to drive on a day-to-day basis as well. So really do like this car. I do overall prefer it to the Delta, even though it is technically slower to 60 to 100, and having to deal with that little bit of extra weight. But as we'll see when we get out onto the track, you'll see that it really doesn't make all that much of a difference. So nonetheless, let's get out there and see what it can do. So we're at the Le Mans Bugatti circuit for one lap, so let's see what this car can do. So it's all very familiar if you've ever driven the Lancia Delta Integrale. Familiar engine, familiar engine noise, familiar handling in general, even despite the extra weight that this car's dealing with. And it's all very nice to drive, quite frankly. No, it's not the quickest sports saloon from the period. Obviously, you like your M5 or, will no doubt be quicker than this. But at the end of the day, this is a compact saloon. It's far cheaper down the pay scale than any BMW would be, and all the while you've got these gorgeous Alfa Romeo looks, you've got the Italian pedigree going along with it, and you've got four-wheel drive that works, quite frankly, because it keeps the power in check, but it also doesn't provide a stupid amount of understeer. It's very difficult to make it oversteer, and it's just a very grippy system that just keeps everything in check to the point where you can just enjoy the driving of the car without having to worry about whether or not it's going to spin off or anything like that. And acceleration is still not half bad despite the extra weight and lack of power over the Lancia Delta. 0 to 60 in 6.6 seconds, 0 to 100 in 18.503 seconds, and it will go to a top speed of 148 miles an hour. So that's less than a second slower than Lancia Delta to 60. Just over a second slower to 100, but does have a higher top speed by 11 miles an hour. So, on the track at least, this car in terms of top speed is better than the Lancia Delta. Though obviously you want usable power and performance, and this has slightly less than that than the Lancia Delta. But to be honest, I prefer the looks, I prefer the interior, I prefer the room on the interior, and even though the boot isn't quite as big or as versatile as the Lancia Delta, at the end of the day is still a sizable boot for a car of this size. So overall I really do like this car. I think it's kind of underrated in Forza games in general. It's not been in every Forza game that's been out, but quite frankly it deserves to be. And I wish we had more classic Alfa Romeos, to be honest. more classic Italian cars in general, to be honest, because yeah, there's a definite lack of them, especially from Lancia themselves, and yeah, other kinds of Alfa Romeos as well. We've only ever really had this and the 75 from the 90s, as well as the SZ. But then from the 80s we've only ever had the Spider. From the 70s we've only ever had the Montreal. So yeah, there's a definite lack of Alfa Romeos on Forza games that I hope is rectified in the next Forza Motorsport game. But yeah, this 155 is still great in its own right. Sure, if you compare it to the Lancia Delta, it does have some deficiencies over that car. But yeah, in terms of sports saloons in general from the period, yeah, it's unique enough and enjoyable enough to drive, while looking great to at least set itself apart. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.